There comes a point, guys, in like every UFC fighter's career, not every UFC fighter. Some UFC fighters literally fight the same way from start to finish. But I've noticed a trend lately, especially nowadays in the UFC, where like people switch their fight styles. And there's many reasons to this, and I'm going to get into the reasons as I like go through these fighters, but some of them, they go through a loss, so they feel like they need to do something drastic and change something. Some of them are just like thinking things aren't working, so they want to try something new. And then some of them get mentally broken to a point where they almost forget how they used to fight, so they're like fighting a whole different style. In today's video, we're going to be looking at multiple fighters. I think I have like 5 fighters on this list. And we're going to talk about what their fight style used to be, how effective it was, and then the change they made and how effective it was. As you guys can see, this is Israel Adesanya, real bad man, you know, Nigerian strong guy, you know, handsome guy. All right, buddy. We're going to talk about his changes first because Adesanya, guys, everyone knows, or you should know, Adesanya's fight style initially was a low kick, and then he would draw out boxing. He would draw out boxing counters. So when I say this, I mean Izzy was always low kick first, like his whole career. He would throw low kicks, and then he'll wait for you to get frustrated almost and try to come in. And then when this would happen, you see stuff like Izzy leaning back and boom, boom, catching people. Yeah, a notorious example is the Robert Whittaker fight, eating up Robert Whittaker. Pause. But he was eating up Robert Whittaker with those low kicks. Then Whittaker would be like, all right, fuck it, I'm Whittaker, I'm going to just blitz in. He'll blitz in. Izzy would do a really good job leaning out the way, and then he would fire back with some counter boxing. Izzy was never really the type to like initiate his boxing first. He will use his low kicks to draw out some boxing exchanges. Did against Paulo Costa really well as well. He was destroying Costa's front leg. Costa got frustrated, so Costa would get mad and try to take risk. But when he took a risk, that's when Izzy would ultimately caught him and dropped him. The initial thing was a slip back, boom, boom. Kind of what he did to Whittaker, and then Costa fell as he jumped on him, this, that, and the third. Izzy's really good at drawing out counter boxing opportunities. When he does it well. He did it against Jared Kennedy too. Did it against Victoria. He did it against everyone. Most of Izzy's wins that like people say, oh, dude, it's a boring style. It's not a boring style. The low kick and then drawing out reactions, it leads to usually fun fights and good finishes. Unless you have a Romero who's not gonna really like do much, so it's gonna be hard for Izzy to draw out the boxing counters, which is why Izzy's able to have like a boring fight like that Romero situation. Because when he's low kicking Romero's just sitting there kind of just eating it, and then like every once in a while Romero will explode into something explosive, but it just makes it harder for Izzy's style to work. So low kick and drawing out counters. Even his win against Pereira, I think he was like, it was kind of a kickboxing match, so they're both trading low kicks. But of course, ultimately, he drawed in a counter, not by his low kick, but kind of high guarding, possum, boom. The Sean Strickland win is what changed Izzy's fight style, guys. After losing to Sean Strickland, I remember this vividly. I remember Izzy went to Mexico to train, and he was always posting boxing footage in Mexico. He looked good. Izzy's always kind of had boxing, I'll be real. Like, Izzy's the type to, like, always kind of box here and there. He never was, like, someone who never used boxing. But I remember after the Strickland loss, when he was going to Mexico and he was training these boxing exchanges and stuff, his next fight was so much more boxing oriented. He fought Dricus du Plessis after the Sean Strickland loss. In the Dricus fight, he was doing something different where he was being aggressive with his boxing, not counter aggressive, not like counteracting what DDP was doing, but rather literally bending that style that I think would actually work perfectly against Dricus. If you think about it, guys, Dricus ate 8 low kicks that fight. 8 low kicks. Only 8. That's nothing for Izzy. And in the post-fight interview, Dricus was talking about, oh my God, his leg kick, man. I could not stand those. Bro, he hit you 8 times with the low kicks. If Izzy stuck to his original game plan or like his original fight style of low kicking and drawing out counter boxing opportunities, he would have probably got rid of Dricus pretty easily. But since he abandoned the low kick after the Strickland loss, he was more of an aggressive boxer. So he would do great work. Like he'll push back DDP with holding his arm out, then hitting him. Then he'll go like holding his arm out, boom, boom, body. He would mix in the body shots really well. And he was doing good work. Don't get me wrong. In the Dricus fight, the aggressive boxing style was actually doing good work. I think the problem was it was kind of playing into Dricus' game of, okay, if you just want to come forward and have like an aggressive boxing match, we could go aggression versus aggression. And although Izzy looked good, like a lot better as far as like the striking went, it would lead to like weird exchanges where like Dricus would have his moments too. And then Izzy, the thing about his low kick and drawing out counter boxing, it's good when you're setting up low kicks and creating your space. And then when they lunge in, it's easy to lean back for Izzy and counter punch. But when Izzy's such an aggressive boxer, when the aggressive like boxing would come back, he would try to lean out the way. But it's not the same. Like he'd be too close in range, so then he would like kind of just be doing this the whole time, and then Dricus, who's gonna follow up multiple combos, is gonna have an easier time landing on Izzy there. So he ultimately lost that fight. And then in the Malva fight, he kind of still came with the aggressive approach. Izzy's best work wasn't really from his low kicks and drawing out counter punches. It's rather from him coming forward, hitting Malva from the body, hitting Malva from the head. He was just, his best work was coming forward. So Izzy, I do think it has something to do maybe with mileage, but I really just think the Strickland fight kind of changed him. I don't want to say for the worse, but it made Izzy like kind of fixate on one problem, which was his like maybe his boxing in the Strickland fight, and like decide to like try to take what Strickland had that Strickland did well, which was kind of like aggressive boxing mixed with teep kicks. Like, and then Izzy took it and kind of just started, okay, let me be an aggressive boxer because it works pretty well. It does work well. He can't beat a lot of people. If he didn't get caught by a mob, I'm pretty sure he would have won. But it's just like a little bit different of an approach for Izzy, and it puts him in a lot more situations where he's able to get caught in close, like he did against Amavov, like he did against Dricus before he got taken down and submitted, you know. So it's more risky for Izzy, especially as you're aging. You probably don't want to be more aggressive and being more dogfights, you know, because in his prime, he was in a lot less dogfights. He was in a lot less situations where he was in that, except for the Calvin Gastelum fight. But that low kick, drawn out counterboxing was probably his best approach he's ever done. And yeah, this aggressive forward striking boxing style is just not all that. It's not roses and bubbles to me, bro. This is my take, but I'll see what you guys say down below about that. But moving on from Adesanya, because I feel like we covered that pretty well. We're going to talk about Shavkat Rakhmonov. That man gives me chills. All right, buddy. So overly aggressive marauder with heavy head movement. So Shavkat initially was like, he's going to always be in your face and try to like impose his dominance on you, whether he's coming forward and hitting you with something, trying to like, you know, beat you up in the clinch a little bit. He would use the clinch a little bit, but the drastic change has been crazy. After the Jeff Neal fight, chat, I think his overly aggressive marauder style, since Jeff Neal was able to rock him a little bit and hurt him, Shavkat was like, dude, I don't need to be doing that. Like that, I almost got finished. Like, this guy has power. I can't be doing this against some of these hard-hitting welterweights like Buckley's or all these other guys. So in the Wonderboy fight, initially he was clinching, but I remember after the fight, I was like, why is he clinch so much? He did get the finish ultimately. He was the first one to submit Wonderboy, but like he did it in the most absurd way. 95% of that fight was in the clinch. Like, was he fighting smart? Yes, because that Wonderboy, yes. So in my head, I was like, it's just Wonderboy. That's why he fought like that. His next fight with Ian Gary, short notice of Ian Gary, he did the same thing. Like, he was just clinching Ian Gary. And don't get me wrong, Ian Gary can strike as well. Is he like a Wonderboy level? Not, in my opinion. He's not a Wonderboy MVP level, but Ian Gary can strike. But it was like he was living in the clinch again, and he doesn't do bad work in the clinch necessarily. He does a good job negating damage, but I feel like he actually made a switch. People always make excuses for Shavkat. They're saying, oh, his hand hurt in that fight, his shoulder hurt in this fight, his hairline was crooked in this fight. I honestly think that the Jeff Neal fight kind of woke him up a little bit, and it was like, yo, I don't need to be being overly aggressive, getting caught with all these punches. Let me just instead use the clinch to my advantage, because I feel strong in the clinch and I could outwork some of these guys. I want to see how he fights next, or who he fights next. I know he just had surgery. He's all complete. He's good. He's going to be ready probably like next year, they're saying. But, you know, I don't know how the layoff's going to affect him, but I'm pretty sure after a layoff, he's not going to go back to that old Marauder style where he's really aggressive and just walking you guys down and Marauder maxing you. I think he's going to stick to the heavy clinching style, depending who he's going against. If he's going against a Buckley, it's going to be a lot harder to hold someone like that strong Ninja Turtle against the fence. But, you know, it depends who he's going against. But I feel like Shavkat does have a little bit of a switch in his game plan now with the heavy clinching. And I feel like it might be for the better, because I feel like you don't need to go in there and just get your head punched off a bunch of times. You could go in there with a smarter approach, and I do think the smarter approach is heavy clinching. But, you know, we're going to have to see how he shows up next. But it's been 2 fights in a row now, so I think it's not bad. Same with Izzy. It was 2 fights in a row. The Dricus and Mava fight where he had the aggressive boxing style. So at this point, if it's 2 fights in a row you're doing it, I'm going to say it's a switch style. You could come up with as much excuses as you want, but I do think it's a switch style from Shavkat. He doesn't want to take too much damage. He's about to be 30 soon. I think he's still high 20s, so no need to take absurd damage. All right. Moving on for Shavkat Rakhmonov, I got Abus Magomedov. Now, Abus was an overconfident first-round finisher. He came in very aggressive with those like long kicks, side kicks, teep kicks, jumping into stuff, high knees, flying knees. He'd be very aggressive, and he would get the finish a lot of the times. Before the UFC, he was getting finishes from first round, second round. He very rarely went the distance. I don't even know if he went the distance, got a win before. He very rarely went the distance. He would get like Kimura finishes. He would get strikes, ground and pound, all these stuff, knees, finishes. Comes to the UFC, wins his debut again, and then he's put against Strickland. And then he tried to do it with Strickland. He was beating the shit out of Strickland, don't get me wrong, the first round. But he realized, dude, I don't got the capabilities. I don't got the endurance. I don't got the gas tank for this. So in the middle of that fight, like not the middle of the fight, the second round starts, he literally kind of gives up on himself. Like he doesn't have any more energy, so he kind of just shells up and gives up, and Strickland just puts it on him. And then same with the Brahalo fight afterwards. He kind of just kind of went hard and then fatigued. But now, since he's been on this like little win streak, he's been a lot more calculated and measured. He doesn't just go balls to the wall in the first round. He kind of goes a little bit more measured, picks his shots well, uses the wrestling exchange as well. He still kind of fatigues even though he's fighting more technically, but he's just not he's not as sporadic as he used to be. He doesn't like just jump into kicks and flying knees. He's a lot more careful, and I feel like it's been getting him a win. So this fight style actually changed for the better for him. I think this change was definitely necessary because he's not Khamzat Chimaev. It shows how good people like Khamzat are, guys. He could go in there full endurance and just give everything the first round like a real bad man. He's not going to fatigue. Khamzat slows down. He doesn't fatigue. Abus fatigues. This is what fatigue. If you guys think, oh, Khamzat fatigues, he doesn't. This is what fatigue looks like. He actually gets tired. So, I feel like this change from Abus was literally needed, or he's going to be a trash can. That's literally how I seen it. So I'm glad he made the change. He's not championship material, brother. Not the real bad man. I just don't think he's tussled with the stars yet, or tussled with the law. Has he even shook his homie hand, Chad, after he punched him in the jaw? I think he's nothing but a fraud, but he's winning. He's winning. Not very spectacular fashion, but he's winning still. But yeah, more calculated measures good because he does have skill. It's just that he doesn't have endurance to hold it for a long period of time. God forbid him in a 5-round fight though against like a Marauder. GG's. But moving on from Abus, Paulo Costa. This is a fight style I feel like changed for the worst. So before getting humbled by Izzy, Costa was a pressure-heavy boxer who used body kicks at times. But what Costa's goal was to push you against the fence and absolutely unload on you. I'm talking body, head. If Costa could back you up against the fence, you're done for. Like, he will melt you. It was so bad. I remember being like, the way he destroyed Uriah Hall and Johnny Hendricks. Like, he's breaking these guys. Like, Romero, he's walking these guys down and he's taking some damage. He's coming back, though. He would be so crazily, like, just scary, dude. I was actually scared shitless for Izzy, chat. I can't even lie. Going into that fight, I was like, bro, I think Izzy wins, but I actually don't know how. I don't know why I was even thinking Izzy could lose that fight because I was nervous just seeing how Costa was doing these guys. I know the guys were older he was beating, but it was just his fight style in specific that made me nervous. After the Izzy loss, matter of fact, during the Izzy loss, I think he underestimated Izzy's range or something. He tried to make, I drank wine the night before. Shut the fuck. Yeah, man, no fucking wine, dude. It was cowabunga, man. I went off the chain. Dude, he drank wine. He started making excuses, but like he was really tentative against Izzy. He was almost afraid to close the gap with Izzy because, like I said, Izzy's fight style at that time was that low kick, then make you come in with make you come in aggressively, then get counter punch. He knew that was Izzy's game plan. So when he was getting low kicked, he was almost like, I don't know what to do. So he was trying to use the body kick element of his fight style, but he just couldn't close the distance well and back Izzy against the fence like he wanted to. So he was kind of just eating the low kicks, trying to like, how do I find his range? And ultimately, Izzy's low kick and counter punching style got up to Costa because when he did get frustrated and ran in, counter punch, slept, humped on the ground, all that shit. All that happened. So after that fight, the tentative approach he had against Izzy, I was like, okay, it's only because Izzy. No, he still hasn't let go of that habit. I think Izzy broke him. And this is one of the situations the fight style changes because you get broken mentally. Now he's like always kind of tentative and he gives up the front foot a lot easier. He was letting Rockhold walk him down at some points. Rockhold's like, you should have done Rockhold like you did Uriah Hall and Johnny Hendricks. Like, Rockhold ain't a young buck. The way Strickland was walking him down as well. It was just like, he just gives up the front foot. Victoria was walking him down. I'm like, dude. I was just like, this is not the Costa I'm used to. It's just not. Like, the way, like, even Whitaker was, like, not giving him respect. It's almost like the Izzy fight, like, it broke him mentally and it also made people around Costa like, this guy's not that good. Like, I just can't back up. If I don't back up, he's not going to hold me against the fence and fucking unload on me, But that being said, like, I kind of feel for Costa because I thought he had a lot of potential, man. He was undefeated. He was literally, like, for 13-0 before the Izzy fight. It was really like a Sean Brady situation. And then he gets, humbled almost by Izzy, and it was just like he disappears. Unlike Sean Brady, though, like after losing to Bilal when he was 15-0, came back, started winning. Costa did the opposite. He just came back, started losing. So his new approach, his tentative approach where he gives with the front foot a lot easier and just doesn't use his heavy boxing approach as much and just kind of spams kicks is not doing him any justice. So I had to acknowledge Paulo Costa on this list. Last but not least, Jose Aldo, kick first. He used to be kick first. He sets up everything else with his kicks. He uses his kick to set up everything. And then he just fell in love with his hands. I don't know what fight it was. It might have been the Martinez fight. That, like, not even. It's probably before that. But, like prime Aldo, when he was running through everyone, he was setting up everything through low kicks. He would always, he would even damn near finish people off of low kicks alone. And then he just stopped kicking and started like using more boxing. His boxing's great. Like he goes body, head. He uses his body combos really well in his boxing. He doesn't just headhunt. He mixes it up really well. And I feel like it was a Martinez performance. Like, yo, I'm literally the best at this shit. So he thought he could do that for other people. It just doesn't work though. It like doesn't work. Even his last fight, I feel like against fucking Air Hawani, he could have used low kicks a lot more. He just wasn't using it. So he's kind of falling in love with his hands. And then he doesn't even have the gas tank or the endurance to keep those hands going. So that's what happens. If you don't set up low kicks, especially like Aldo, when he was so good at it, I feel like sometimes falling in love with something that you have a good performance off of is not necessarily the best thing ever, because you might be gaslit into like, oh, this is my style now, when your true style would actually wipe a lot of these guys. If he keeps the kick first style, but then just adds like the little boxing fling that he got, bro, he'll be a real bad man. In my opinion, he'd be like, beats on him, Dr. Dre. It's just that he just kind of was like abandoned the kick game and kind of like, okay, let me just box. And he's done now. He's retired now, so I'll let him do what he wants. Like, he's free. I just have to incorporate him in this video because I feel like it's a really good example of someone like forgetting what got them to the dance, brother. This guy forgot, brother. He's a real good, talented guy, but he forgot what really made Jose Aldo. But let me know what you guys think about this video. I think I nailed this, bro. I might have missed someone. I don't know. Let me know if you guys think of anyone else down below, but these are like significant ones that are pretty obvious. But that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed, and God bless. 2, 3.